Welcome to the Growth Catalyst Show, where we believe that growth could come in many forms: professional, personal, company, sales, you name it. I'm your host, Dan Mahony, founder of Transcendent Sales Solutions and a guide to a world of growth possibilities. I've spent my career empowering companies and their people with strategies that accelerate growth. I'm here to bring you stories of these business leaders and their trusted advisors to gain insights into their journeys and learn how they fuel their own growth. Just maybe their journey could become part of your own growth story. Are you ready? Let's grow. Welcome to the next episode of the Growth Catalyst Show. I am so glad to have our next guest here. Thomas Hamm is the CEO and founder at Smash Wellness. They achieve dramatic transformation, providing clients with holistic fitness and wellness programs. Before Smash Wellness, Thomas completed his European Culinary Arts degree in Lucerne, Switzerland, which he leverages throughout all of his Smash Wellness services. Thomas, welcome to the Growth Catalyst Show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited to have you. You know, I've gotten to know you in the last year. I mean, we met about a year ago for the first time, and I feel like I've known you for a lot longer. You're just that type of person. And I want to learn a little bit more. Every time I meet with you, I learn more about your background. So from our last meeting, I found out you're from Jacksonville, Florida, correct? Jacksonville, Florida area?
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here, first of all. And then also too, as well, as soon as I met you about a year or so ago, I just loved your spirit. I loved who you are as a human being and man, a father. I'm just super excited to be here with you, and can't thank you enough for the opportunity, and also thank you enough for being a mentor and a friend and consultation partner for myself. So, So initially we were I actually grew up in outside Philadelphia. Dad had a dream of owning his own business. So at the time, he bought into a franchise in the late 80s, a little small franchise. You might know it's called Bojangles. So he actually bought into the franchise down in Jacksonville, Florida, moved the entire family down to Jacksonville, bought two franchises down there for Bojangles, sold those, bought a couple more restaurants, and did a variety of different and owned a variety of different businesses in Jacksonville, Florida. So that's kind of where it kind of began and started for me. And so I did half my life in about 9 years up in outside Philadelphia, and the other 9 or so in Jacksonville.
So Eagles fan or Jaguars fan?
I'll be honest with you, I'm a big TL16. So Jacksonville Jaguars, love it. I love the Eagles too. I'm now those boys. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Jacksonville Jaguars and the Falcons are probably my 2 that I follow the most.
Those Eagles fans are a little more hardcore than those Jacksonville fans, man.
They're very serious.
Yeah, like LA Raiders fans throwing batteries in the stands and things like that, right?
Yes, and I've actually been to the black hole before, and it's a real thing.
So you started I saw that you went to the U. You started out in the U in business, and then Florida International University with international business and hospitality. What was the plan coming out of your first stint and with your first undergraduate degree?
I'll be honest with you. It goes back to actually going on the bus to my high school. I actually was a kind of experiment at the time for a college prep school, and pretty much somebody asked me, say, "Hey, Thomas, what do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to travel and get paid for it." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "I want to travel and get paid for it." And they're like, "Well, there's no major like that." I'm like, "I don't really care if it's a major like that. We're gonna figure it out. I want to travel and get paid for it." So the idea was that initially, and then when I went to University of Miami and then moved over to FIU, I learned about hospitality and what have you. And then I loved it. I love the people. I love the vibe. I love the energy, right, of that particular genre of business. So then I saw a man. He's just a lovely human being, and his name was Paul Perdone, and he was a New Orleans chef. He has had a restaurant, maybe still does. I'm not sure if it's closed down or not now in New Orleans, called K. Paul's. And he was famous, and you saw him in all the seasonings and all the stores and what have you. And he came in, and I saw him one time, and he was just so passionate, right? And it was a seminar down in Miami, and he was just so passionate. And And I was just looked at the way he did it, and he gave everybody a taste of food. But before the food was allowed to be seen by like 300-400 people at this seminar in Miami, he tasted it beforehand. And just that, like, my name is on this food and I'm going to taste it because I have so much profound respect for the food, for the audience, and for what I bring to the table as in him. It was just so palatable, right? In more ways than one, pardon the pun, but it was just so palatable. So anyway, I saw that. And what happened is I knew a gentleman who was on the board of DCT Lucerne, Switzerland at the time that they're co-op with FIU. And he said, Thomas, there's one seat available left. And this is like my sophomore, junior year. There's one more seat left. And if you want it, you can have it, but you got to let me know immediately. There's only like 8 seats in this advanced degree diploma. Advanced degree diploma for this European culinary arts degree. So I begged my parents, please let me go, because I always wanted to travel abroad, right? AKA travel and get paid for it, right? Always want to travel. I always want to travel and learn different languages. I didn't know a lick of German, right? I didn't know anything. I'm just going to take my bags and go. And he was, and they actually let me go. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my gosh! I begged, man. I was debating, right? And they let me go. So I went over there, not a lick of German, bag, a little squeaky wheel, choo choo choo. Went my butt over there to Lucerne, Switzerland, and got into a degree program, banged it out. And then after I finished, the instructors were like, yo, if you want to stay over here and finish your BS program over here, right, via Miami, via FIU, you could do that over here. I'm like, bet. You stay in the same hotel, look over to the same Swiss Alps, see Lucerne and the little beautiful marina. I'm like, cool, right? So that's what happened. And then I just stayed over there. I did one internship. And then they, through the what's a name, they said, oh, yeah, if you want to graduate in this double major, right, you're going to have to do an internship outside your mother tongue, right? So I was like, perfect, right? I know Swiss German now. This is great. So
I'm
I
a native.
stayed over there and stayed in Switzerland and banged that bad boy out. So I did another internship over in Lucerne, Switzerland. And then from there, I traveled for, I don't know, about 18 years or so, never living in the same city more than 1.5 to 2 years.
So when you were traveling, I mean, most people that do hospitality, they start working for hotels and they start popping around at hotels. Is that how you did it, or how did you travel for 18 years?
Yeah, it started with, the good news is that I had both, because I had the back of the house in regards to the kitchen and that kind of experience. But then I also had front of the house experience, because when my dad had those restaurants, he didn't allow me to come in the kitchen at all. I stayed out front. Right. So I was handling the money. I handled customer service. I understood what it meant to be hospitable, right? And what that looked like at a very, very young age, right? I understood what it meant to get my hands dirty. I understood what it meant to go through hierarchy and work your way up from literally the bottom. So therefore, when I did it, when I went over there and had the degrees and what have you, and had the double major and I double minored and all that stuff, and I went over there and had that, then it started within the culinary. Then they said, oh, okay, now we can go in the front of the house. So then I worked in the service and what have you in front of the house. Then it became a consulting thing in regards to coming in and showing different organizations, hey, this is how we can improve on A, B, C, D, and E, right? Because every time I went to places, we increased sales, we increased productivity, we increased training. The staff stayed longer, right? Because they were happier. And they were more effective and produced more, right? So they're like, oh, shoot, this guy kind of knows what he's talking about. He's just not blowing smoke. It's a real thing. So that's kind of how it kind of morphed in. So it started back in the house, then went in the front of the house and more of the service, right? Operations, then went back in the house again and went into culinary operations, then consulting, right? And then I started really getting into, I just had a fascination with wine. And traveled around the world with it. So I became a sommelier. I got certified here in Atlanta. And then, I would have assumed I would have gotten certified in Napa when I lived out there, or got certified in Italy, or got certified in Switzerland or someplace else. But I'll be honest with you, I actually got certified here. And then talked to and trained and cultivated different wine menus and worked with different organizations here in town, as well as the nation, in regards to their wine menus and their ordering practices, their services, and what have you.
So in high school, were you an athlete? Were you always an athlete, very competitive? I'm trying to find how we got into, Smash Wellness. What was it?
No, no. My mom earlier on, I went to a college prep school. There's a school called Stanton College Prep, and it was extremely difficult. It was one you had to take an IQ test. You did this, you did that. And you had the GPA and people talking, community service, all kinds of stuff to get in this school. And it was experimental school at the time. Now it's not anymore. And it was extremely difficult academically. So I took AP classes in 7th grade all the way up through 12th grade. So it was just a lot of work. And my mom's like, hey, you need to focus on academics. And I played a little bit baseball here or there, soccer, just played around with it. Nothing very, very serious at all. Played in a band, nothing very serious, kind of an awkward kid to say the least. Very, very awkward, very shy, not very sure of himself, kind of a lower self-esteem kind of guy. Just you wouldn't even know I was in the room. All of a sudden you look up and you're like, oh, shoot, man, Thomas, you've been in the room for 3 hours? I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like I was very unassuming. Definitely in that time in my life, physical fitness and physical health and wellness didn't really come into play until I would say about 20 some odd years ago. And so in my 20s, I tell people all the time, I'm in my mid 40s. I could smoke my mid 20s, Thomas. Like not even a question. I was not physically fit at all. I always say that there's no reason why you should run from here to there. There's no reason. I mean, sit on the couch. This is what I did all day long, every day, working myself to oblivion in my 20s, trying to create and build my resume and travel around the world. But health and wellness and taking care of myself and nutrition was definitely not on my radar. And then all of a sudden I said, you know what? I actually stopped drinking about 17, 18 years ago. And I stopped drinking and I was a sommelier. And I was like, should I keep on going with this when I stop drinking and sommelier? And there are dry somms out there. They're not very many. And there's a reason why, right?
Right. Yeah. Good.
There's just a reason why. Like, I don't know if I trust you. You're not tasting the product. I don't know about you.
But I got a great whiff, right?
Right. I got a great nose. My nose was fantastic. My olfactory system was great, right? But I'm like, I don't know. You're not drinking with me. I don't really trust you, right? So I said, you know what? What can I do that never has a cap? What can I learn that never has a cap that I'm interested in? So I worked out on my own. And then all of a sudden, some guy was like, hey, my friend was like, you going to work out? I'm like, yeah. Can I come with you? I'm like, all right. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, right? I've been working out for years. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm just having a good time. So I go in there, work out, blah, blah, blah. We have a good time. We're chatting. He's like, can I come back again with you? I'm like, yeah, you can do what you want, man. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. We're just having a good time. He says, yeah. Then all of a sudden, another person asked me, hey, where are you going to work out? I'm like, I'm going to work out next Thursday. All right, cool. Can I come with you? I'm like, you sure? I don't know what the heck I'm doing. They're like, it doesn't matter. Let's just go. You're cool. You're a cool guy. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. So we just worked out and that's how it started. So then I was like, wait a second, maybe I should put some science behind this because I don't know what the heck I'm doing, right? So then I found the personal training certification, the hardest one I could find. I passed it. And then I start working with organizations to kind of get my feet wet to understand. I know hospitality. I know customer service. I know people, right? And now I got the science behind me. Now it's time to work, right? And put it all together. I got the nutrition bit, right? I got the chef, right? I got these parts, but it's all not coming together as of yet because it wasn't time. And then all of a sudden, things start to happen. And then I worked for a company called Orange Theory. I did some group fitness. And then all of a sudden I started learning. And then I said, oh, maybe I can do this on my own. Maybe I can come off. Now, I have 2 generations beforehand that were all entrepreneurs. So I'm the 3rd generation of entrepreneurs. It's in my blood. I feel it. Maybe I can start something, right? But what do I start? So I did a survey from 13 to 75 years old, men and women, right? And I did have this survey. And I wanted to see if there's any value that I could provide in this space, right? And people would tell me these amazing stories. And 3/4 of them would cry right in front of me. And I was like, oh my gosh, because some of the people, right, their experiences were just so emotional and traumatic. And they were bringing a lot of, baggage, right? And a lot of trauma with them. And I was like, wow, where can there be value here? And I'm like, I got it. We can lead with love. Love can be the business model. We can be authentic, transparent, and lead with love. We're not going to lie to people. We're going to be just straight honest with people of what their realistic goals or unrealistic goals, right, could or would or maybe not look like. And we're going to bless them, right? Some people use a variety of other places to love on folks, right? This just happens to be my ministry. So the food and the fitness and nutrition, that just happens to be the catalyst for me to have the opportunity, right, to love on you. So I saw the love bit and I saw the value there. And then that's how it kind of started.
And that's what started Atlanta Fitness Chef, which is now Smash Wellness. You rebranded, correct?
Correct. Okay. Because you started that. And then all of a sudden now I got that itch because I'm a student of the game. So now I'm taking certification after certification after certification. Now you start getting to 12 and 13, 14 and 15 certifications, right? At this point. And now the demographic and market that you're marketing to changes, right? And then therefore it just evolved, right? So then we rebranded Smash about 7-8 years ago. And then now this is the kind of thought process that we have right now in regards to we customize everything for the client. One workout will never be similar to another workout or session or nutrition. We're a one-stop wellness call. So when you call me, we navigate, right, an entire wellness team to surround you, to uplift you so you can have the opportunity to be the best version of yourself.
So I saw on your website, you're the wellness GPS. Is basically what you are. What are the true areas really of true wellness?
In regards to wellness, for me?
Wellness is a word. Yeah, wellness is a word, but what does really true wellness for an individual really mean from your perspective and your vision?
So I actually, it's funny you asked that. I actually was talking to a client yesterday and I said, do you remember what I told you when I first met you? And she was like, what? I was like, do you remember what I told you? And it had a direct correlation to what we were talking about. And I said, anybody, right? A lot of people can show you how to curl a dumbbell, push up a barbell. Quite a few people can do that, right? Walk from here to there, running technique, what have you, right? A lot of people can do that. And they're phenomenal people. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely phenomenal. There's no shade on anybody. Absolutely amazing. But what I'm coaching with you, what I'm doing is I'm not coaching you to curl a dumbbell. I'm coaching what's in between your two ears. Mental health, it starts with that. If I got you and I got the mind, if you can clean out that mind and really hone in and be open to the process, to the journey, the body's going to adapt. The body's going to adapt to the external pressure. I'm not worried about the body. I'm worried about what you say to yourself and the narrative that you're believing about yourself and what you're bringing to the table. If I get that, the rest of it. So I don't tell people like I'm a personal trainer. I'm more of a wellness advisor or even a mindset coach. Because at the end of the day, over 3/4 of my conversations are literally about mindset today and about nutrition, right? Very little of it actually is about the actual fitness, right? Do we work out? Of course. Are my clients getting results? Darn right. Because they wouldn't come back to me for the last 15 years if they weren't getting results, okay? I tell people all the time, people are not coming back for my pleasant personality, my amazing smile. You know what I mean? They're coming back because they're getting results. It just so happens that we're having a great time while doing it. But let's be clear. We are slapping results on people. That is my first thing first. But wellness for me starts with the mind and then it transcends, right? Into what we're putting inside as fuel for nutrition bit. And then it goes into what? Mobility and the actual wellness. I'll finish with this. When I first meet a client, okay? When the first time I meet them, I don't ask them about goals. I don't ask them about any of that mess, right? Because everybody has goals, aspirations. Obviously, if you're coming to see me, you have all these things from jump. What I do ask them for is one thing. What do you love to do? What do you love to do? If you couldn't do it tomorrow, it would hurt you, right? It would hurt you as a human being, right? I answered it. I love to pick up my son. I love to run with my son. I love to spend time outdoors with my family and my wife. I enjoy that. If I couldn't do that, that would change me as a human being. I had to reflect and say, oh, we got to change. We have to pivot, okay? Because that would change me. So where in there did I need 24-inch biceps? Where in there did I need an 8-pack? Where in there did I need to run a 5-minute and 20-second mile? Nowhere in there. So why am I training like I'm trying to have an 8-pack, a 5:20 mile, okay? And when I have 24-inch biceps, right? So my point being is I want a great quality of life, but what means something to you personally? So we ask, what do you love to do? And then we create a program, a wellness program that makes sure that you can do what you love to do as long as you can do it for as much as you want to do it with the least amount of injury while doing it.
Let's take a moment for a quick word from our sponsor. This episode of the Growth Catalyst Show was brought to you by Transcendent Sales Solutions. Whether your company is facing uncertainty, declining sales, or resource limitations, Transcendent Sales has the solution. Their team has decades of experience helping businesses find alignment to meet their growth goals and transforming underperforming sales organizations into revenue-producing market leaders. They take a hands-on, results-oriented approach to solving sales challenges. Visit transcendentsales.com to learn more and subscribe to the bi-weekly Growth Catalyst newsletter for insightful growth strategies. Transcendent Sales Solutions, empowering businesses to reach new heights. And now, back to the show. One of the things I found very interesting in talking to you is the makeup of your client base is very diverse, and it could be from, somebody that is a mom that's trying, or a dad that's trying to get themselves in shape, to somebody who is a, never named, of course, but corporate executive that is on the other side of the world that needs your help. Talk a little bit, if you could, about your client base. So it sounds like you could serve anyone.
I mean, we do, because it's based in love, right? And for me, love is equal opportunity, right? I don't say, oh, well, I'm gonna share myself with this person, or share my love with this person, and not with this, right? So at the end of the day, I'm open arms. How can I help? At best, I'm a servant. At best, right? I'm here to serve. So the question is how can I serve? How can I provide value to you, and how can we get results on you? Okay. What is valuable to you, and how can we do it? I've had clients 13, 14, 15 years old. I have clients who are 60, 70, 80, 75-ish. This is how about years old, right? As clients. And we do things, and let's be clear. That 13, 14-year-old client, we are taxing them. And that 60, 70-year-old client, we are working them. Okay. Now their workouts might look different, right? Their programming is obviously different, but man, they are getting worked. If they see my face, they are being uncomfortable and they are stretching their limits, right? But we're doing it in a really, really awesome way.
So, fact or myth, is it harder to achieve those results when you're older versus when you're that 13-year-old?
Yes and no. Yes and no. The only thing I would say is the younger audience is coming with less, right, baggage and in regards to experience. So
talking about up here,
it's a little bit cleaner in the pocket. So therefore, we're able to say, hey, we have a couple things we saw on social media. Let's debunk those and let's start on this program. And then let me show you. No, it's not about talking anymore. Let me show you. The older client, we have to say to them, hey, right, what you've done up to this point, right, is not working for you. If it was working for you, you wouldn't be talking to me. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if it's and I tell everybody this, if it's working for you, keep doing it. Don't stop it until it's not working. And when it's not working, you might have to pivot, right? And that goes for myself as well. There's things that I started out with and that work for me. Now, all of a sudden, with my personal workouts, they don't. So therefore, I pivot accordingly. So it's about cleaning the ego, taking away pride for a second, right? Coming with an open mind and an open heart. And if you do that at whatever age, right, we can make an impact on you.
One of the things you said to me the last time we got together that really was an aha moment is you told me, you said, Dan, 80% of it is between these two areas right here. And it's not just all about how much you can run and how much you can jump and do that. And for me, didn't really think about it that way ever. It's just all about, putting in the physical work.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, too, as well, you have to have the mind, right? The mind is a very powerful thing. And the mind can keep something that's relevant in your mind for a very, very long time and hold on to it. And the mind is an amazing forgetter as well. It's an amazing forgetter. So that's why we talk about it, because people will eat that, like, not very well, don't do, and forget all the bad times. And I can testify to this and remember one good time and say, well, you know what it is? It's like golf with me. Golf. Okay. I go to a driving range. I got 300 balls. I'm banging these bad boys. Man, these things are going left. These things are going right. Okay. Choo, 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 all over the place. People looking at me like, wait, what is wrong with this guy? But let me tell you, one ball, I hit that puppy and that thing goes super straight and super long. And it went exactly where I wanted to. And do you know what? My mind says, I'm coming back next week. Why? Because I forgot the other 299 I sprayed, but that one ball.
It gets you. That's it. That's the one you're going to remember. And it's usually the first hit when you haven't picked up a ball and a club in like 5 years, right? It's your best hit. It's going to be the best hit of the day. So that's my golf game. And I know the success stories in all the years that you have are vast. Would you share a couple that really they're impactful that, come to mind for you that would resonate with everyone listening?
Yeah, I mean, there's one client of mine. We met and she had breast cancer. And every day after she finished radiation, she would come to work out with me. Okay. And her body, right, for the radiation was so laden that she couldn't stand very much. So she could only sit on the bench. She could sit on the bench. And we sat her on the bench and we gave her a workout on the bench. And she sat there the entire time. And our cardiovascular was when we would get up, we would walk literally to the front door and then walk right back to the bench again and then sit back down again, because that was as far as she could walk, right? Without giving out of air and breath. And she came to me every single time after radiation. She would come work out with me. And we did some phenomenal workouts. Let's be clear. Phenomenal. But we started from a bench. Okay. Years later. Okay. Actually, and that was 13 years ago. Okay. She's still my client today. And she's doing 3-minute boxing rounds. She's killing the game. Okay. She looks absolutely fantastic. She's strong. She's planking. She's doing workouts that I thought that, in my wildest dreams, that would never have happened. Right. To see that, not just to see the body. Right. And I'm going to go back to the mind again. It's not just the body. And that's miraculous. Don't get me wrong. It's miraculous to see what she's doing right now and witness it. Right. It's very humbling to witness it. But to see the transformation in her perspective about life from a physical workout, and there is it's a paradigm shift, a mental shift in her mindset about life because of what we did with 2 boxing gloves on a bench. It's just, I mean, it's absolutely amazing, right? I know another client. He was high blood pressure, cholesterol, this and the other, man. And we went and to my older clients, we know this reference. We went Rocky IV. Okay, we went like, I'm talking about back in Russia with the wood. I had tires, old school sledgehammers coming down, like literally sledgehammers running, like doing straight up headbands, holding them. Like it was medieval with what we were doing him. 3 months, executive actually. 3 months, dropped 30 some odd pounds off him in 90 days. I did a side by side. I mean, it looked like he was in a whole new human being, right? I mean, to see when clients come up to me and go, you know, Thomas, I would have been divorced if it weren't for you. Thomas, you changed my life in more ways than anything else. Thomas, when I have anything that goes in my life, good, bad, or indifferent, you're one of the first phone calls that I make. Right? When people say things like that, I've never been the same, right? Since we start working with one another. It's so much more than you can explain. Your website and all your literature doesn't even do it justice of what we're doing here today with what I mean, it's a disservice, I think. Your website stuff, it's just not, it doesn't tell the story, right? So when you hear things like that, it's just so palatable that it's not just about the body, but it's more about the human experience and how we can optimize that. And I tell people, we're not doing this for you. Yes, you, self-centered, pride, ego, yes, that is a component to it. But we're doing this for your family, for your friends, for everybody around you. That when you get healthier, everything gets better. Your mood gets better. You have more energy. You have more clarity. You have more passion to do the things that you want to do. These are the things, and that is transcendent through everybody that you're around. I mean, it's a very powerful experience. I'm just super blessed to be able to witness it. You know what I mean?
So where do you start? I mean, we've got the new year approaching, in the new year close. How does somebody start? Where do you begin?
A phone call, an email, go onto the website, right? Go into smashwellness.com, contact, right? Contact me, send me some information, first, last name, or send me just a phone number. Send me, hey, Thomas, I just need to talk. Let's start with a 15-minute discovery call, right? See what we can do. Because everybody's different. Every nutrition program is different. Every wellness program is different. Thomas, I don't really need nutrition or anything because I have this, that, and other, but I definitely would like to lose 10 pounds. Thomas, you know what? I don't care about losing 10 pounds. I already have a coach. But you know what? I'm really interested in a massage therapist, a chiropractor, and maybe a meditation person. Thomas, I don't need any of that in regards to that. I just need somebody to hold me accountable for running every single day because I'm trying to save up some time and go and travel to this 5K. That's for my first 5K ever, right? So it doesn't matter where you are. Thomas, I'm just trying to add another wrinkle. I already have 2 or 3 trainers, Pilates coach, a golf instructor, this, that, and the other. And right now, I just need somebody to open me up, stretch me out so I can do those things that much more efficiently. So whatever it is that you might want to do, we're going to start with, a phone call. We're going to start with a wellness audit. And every one of my clients, they all do wellness audits. And we just take out just a straight audit of overactive muscles, underactive muscles. We talk about nutrition, what we're putting in, the fuel that we're putting in our body, hydration. We talk about the mental fitness, the mental game. Okay. We talk about a variety of different things and put it into a composed, right, data worksheet. And we send that back to you, right? You don't have to come with our company. You can go back to your trainer. You can go back to wherever you want to go to. But at the end of the day, now you have more information about you. And then at the end of it, at that data sheet, I have a prescription. And I say, hey, for your goals and what you're trying to do, this is your RX. And this is my prescription of what I think would do A, B, C, D, and E for you, right? Remember the wellness GPS. How can we get there as safely and as fast as possible? Move around the stumbling blocks, right? Go away from the construction zones, right? Get away from that bumper to bumper traffic and get you to where you need to be, right? Safely and soundly with the least amount of injury. Okay. And that's kind of how you start. And from there, we just progress on if you would like to.
Okay. So mention again, how is the best way to get a hold of you? Is it your website? It's smashwellness.com?
Smashwellness.com. Go onto the contact. Send me a contact. Let me get your email address so I can respond back to you. From there, we'll get you on the calendar for a 15-minute discovery call. After that, if it sounds great and you're interested, then we'll definitely get you on the schedule immediately, which all my scheduling is online. Okay. And it's immediately, we can get you a profile and get you put on for a wellness audit. We can do that via Zoom, or you can do it live. 85% of my clientele does not live in the state of Georgia. 85% of my clientele is literally from Los Angeles all the way into the Piedmont region of Italy. Okay. So literally anybody, any time zone, West, no, European, doesn't matter. We can take care of you no matter where you are. We have you.
Thomas, I really appreciate you in so many ways. One of the things I've learned about you is how intentional you are and how much you put that love out there. Even in the year that we've known each other, you reach out at the most optimal times just with a quick text and checking in and giving the love. And you're a great human being. And I really appreciate you and appreciate you coming on and joining us on the Growth Catalyst show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your kind words, but I have to give credit where credit is due, right? Anything that I've done and how I transmit love is not because of me. It's because of the people who prayed me to be here, people who encouraged me to be here, and the village that I surround myself and support team I surround myself with to uplift me so I'm able to bless and love others, right? And then let's be clear, you're an easy person to love, right? Because I tell you what, I'm a huge fan of yours, huge fan, and been that way since day one, right? So it's super easy for me to reach out, right? Because at the end of the day, I love you. So when I love somebody, I make sure I keep in contact, and I make sure that I'm intentional, right? Because that's just the way how I love, and I love you for that, and I love being here, and I appreciate the opportunity.
It's been fun. I always am inspired every time I talk to you. Thank you so much, Thomas.
Bless.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Growth Catalyst Show. Remember, you can take these stories of growth and make them part of your own journey. Learn from them, draw inspiration, and let them guide your path of growth. I'm your host, Dan Mahony, and I look forward to our next journey together. If you've enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, keep growing.